Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us on the 5th of January, our first show of 2016. We are so blessed to be here. It's going to be a great show. Our first guest tonight is Leslie Clay with the Literary Action Corps.
Literacy.
Literacy Action Corps of Columbia. Man, I started off 2016 with a bang, didn't I? I kind of messed it up, didn't I?
That's
You know,
fine.
that's why you're here, because to be part of a Literacy Action Corps, you must be pretty sharp.
Well, I don't know how sharp I am, but I'm sharp enough to tutor English.
That ranks up there, in my opinion, with people who tutor math.
Okay.
Very, very good. Listen, you're a member of the board of directors.
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about Literacy Action Corps of Columbia.
Okay, it is an organization formed originally in 1968. It's affiliated with a national organization called ProLiteracy. We teach adults who cannot read or write or need help in improving their skills to read or write English. And we also teach people who cannot speak English to speak English. We used to call it ESL, English as a Second Language, but so many of the people that we tutor, English is not their second language, it's their third, fourth, or fifth language, but we tutor them in that too.
Can you come over and help me with my kids? And maybe we can make English their primary language, because you know, kids today, I don't know what they're speaking. They're speaking text.
Well, that may be, but I don't think I can help you.
So okay. So how long have you been a tutor?
I've been a tutor since about 1998 or 99.
Okay.
And I've tutored, I tutor the English portion.
Sure.
There are other people who tutor the reading and writing for people that speak English but can't read it.
Now, does the Literacy Action Corps of Columbia, do they pick a whole range of topics to help people in, or is it just English, reading, writing, the English language?
Reading, writing, and we will help people who, especially for the English language learners, we'll help them with citizenship tests, or but that's our niche, is English and reading and writing.
So you're pretty squared away with the citizenship test? Because I think it's a phenomenal thing. What worries me is the number of people who don't know or who can't answer the questions that are on the citizenship test. And we're talking about Americans.
That's what I was thinking. The people that come here from another country and study become much more knowledgeable about our country's government and history than people that were born here.
Does that surprise you?
Not anymore. It sort of distresses me, but not.
What part of that?
The fact that there's so many people that are born here in this country that don't know the fundamentals of our government.
It's shocking to me as well, and I know around my house, whenever I'm asked a question, I sometimes get accused of teaching you how to build a watch instead of telling you what the time is. But that's okay. I mean, I think people need to know what the background is, and we need more people like you and your organization to step up and help with literacy.
Yeah, it's the literacy and the English language. The citizenship stuff is usually just tangential. We're trying to teach them to speak English or to read English.
How long does it take, or how long are your courses from the time someone starts an English course or body of work, a curriculum? How long does it take? Or is it an ongoing process?
It's an ongoing process. It takes as long as it takes. Some people are very quick and they achieve their goals. Their goal may simply be to have enough competence to get a job. Or their goal may be to become a citizen, or their goal may be something else. When they achieve that goal, or when they get the job and they can't meet anymore for tutoring, that pretty much ends it.
It's not a bad sign, though, is it?
No, it's a success story.
It is. That's great. Now, speaking of success stories, you've got some projects coming up. You have some events coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
All right, well, in order to teach these people English or to read or write, we need tutors. And in order to have those tutors, they come in, they don't know what to do.
Sure.
We have tutor training twice a year, once in the fall and then once in February. And we will have a tutor training session coming up.
Okay.
It's 3 sessions on a Saturday morning from 9 to 1. It'll be Saturday, February 6, 27, and then March 5. And we will teach them how to teach whatever it is they want to learn. They can specify whether they want to teach literacy or if they want to teach English. And we have special training for each one of those. And then after that, we assign them a student, because there are, especially on the English side, there are people waiting to get a tutor.
Do you have enough tutors?
For English right now, we need more.
Now, what are the requirements? What does it take to become a tutor with the Literacy Action Corps?
Yes, people will say, I don't have a degree in education or anything.
No.
I don't have a degree in education. You have to be, if you're going to teach English, you have to be somebody who knows English, preferably from birth. In other words, born
Sure.
in this country, speaks and reads English fluently, and can learn to be a tutor. You don't have to have an education degree. You don't even have to have a college degree. You just have to be fluent in English.
You know, we take English for granted, I think, and me as well. I get a little lax, a little lazy with the English language at times. Your form of tutoring, is it very formal English? Is it a mix of street English? I don't know what other term to use.
Whatever their goals are, whatever they need. I teach, we don't have a formal class. We just meet one-on-one, and I find
Okay.
out what their goals are, what they want. And I will teach them what they need. One thing I do teach them, though, I make sure I get idioms in there, because so much of our language is idiomatic. You don't
Sure,
realize it,
sure.
but it is. And if somebody is pulling your leg, what?
You know, I don't ever think about
If
it that
somebody
way,
is
but
3
you're right.
sheets to the wind, what?
What is that?
Yes. So I
Why-
teach idioms, but I also teach, of course, vocabulary. I teach grammar.
I have to ask, the idioms. How difficult is that for someone or someone not from this country to understand? I mean,
Well-
we say some crazy things.
Yes, we do,
We
and-
really do.
And we understand each other. But
It's a cultural thing.
it is
But
a very cultural
You
thing.
come from outside of our culture, then I could see some serious problems. But how tough is it for someone to get a grasp of our speak?
well, if I can explain it to them easily, it's not difficult. I even have a book that I use that has idioms in it, but it can't cover all of them. Sometimes,
What's one idiom that you've had the greatest problem with?
oh, I can't.
Is there anything
Think
that
of-
sticks in mind?
Nothing that sticks into my.
Sticks in your mind?
Yes,
Now,
that's
wait
a-
minute.
that's an
Okay,
idiom.
What is that?
Yes. No, I can't think of any
Interesting.
particular idiom that's
Okay,
problematic.
again, your spring tutor session is coming up,
Yes,
February.
6th and 27 and March 5, and people have to attend all 3.
To register, go to your website.
You can go to our website, or you can call us.
What's your website?
Okay, it's www.literacyactioncorps.org.
.org. That's the key. They can go there now. I'm sure there's an application that has to
I
be
believe
filled
there is
out.
an application, yes. Or you can call. We have a phone number. We do not, you'll get an answering machine, but I
Okay.
check it every week to see. And this is a good time to make a phone call on our telephone and say that you're interested.
Great.
And if you just leave a message with your name, your phone number, and what you want. I want to attend tutor training. Then I will then convey that to the proper party that gets everybody registered.
Is there a fee?
Yes, there is a fee, but we have scholarships. The fee is rather nominal this year. I think it's $25, as I recall. I can't recall. It's quite nominal, but if you don't have the money, we do have scholarships available.
Great. Is there anything else you want to add to this? Now, see, you're putting the pressure on me. I'm really trying to speak English very well.
Oh, that's all right. Anything I want to add? It's very rewarding, and I've learned more, perhaps, than my students have ever learned. And certainly the people that teach teach literacy, have gained a great deal. It's very rewarding.
So you can either teach English or literacy.
That's right.
And the citizenship test would probably fall under the literacy category?
Well, the English category.
Does it?
People that are illiterate, that can't read or write, are American-born, but just are adults who never got literacy into their head. So they don't need citizenship tests. It's those who don't speak English, who come from another country. Some of them want to be citizens.
Come back and see us.
Well, thank you.
Thank
I'd
you
love
so
to be
much.
here.
Welcome back to Making a Difference. Our second guest tonight, this is January 5th, 2016. Set your calendars. We're in a new year, everyone. Our second guest tonight is Steve Calloway. Steve is the president of the Minority Men's Network in the Columbia area. Steve, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank
you
you
so much for taking the time and being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the Minority Men's Network.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the opportunity. So the Minority Men's Network is a group made up of primarily African American men in the Columbia area here, but we have other folks are welcome to join as well. And we came together, and what we mainly do is we're a community organization that tries to, one, support each other, and then secondly, we try to have an impact in the community around issues that primarily affect the minority community.
Engagement. We're talking about engagement. And how's the organization's growth been over the years?
So over the years, we have, one of the things that we have done is that we started out with trying to involve and greet and make minority persons coming into our community feel welcome. Over the years, some of the fantastic individuals that have come to our community have been greeted and met and been a part of the Minority Men's Network. As we've gone through the years, I think part of what we've seen is that folks have a lot of opportunities to be involved in the community. So you have Kiwanis, you have Rotary, you have many organizations, fraternities, sororities, and things that folks are able to get involved in. So part of our difficulty with the network has been trying to adopt a little bit different approach to how we get involved with folks in the community. So we have always had a number of men who are from the university community. Many men have been from that, but we've also had folks that have been part of government, folks that have been part of educational community. And so we just reach out to guys through what is primarily and focused on being a network to try to connect with guys wherever they might be, to kind of come together to make the network be a visible source of African American men who may otherwise be somewhat invisible in our community.
Can't have that.
Can't have it.
Can't have that. Now, the network, you mentioned an iconic name around Columbia, and that was Elliott Battle.
Yes.
Explain how Elliott Battle was a part of this at the beginning.
So back around, and again, this is history that was shared with me from one of our earliest members, Elliott Battle and Arva Strickland. Arva, of course, being the first black professor at the university. Those two men became fast friends in the earlier history of Columbia. And around 1985, those two guys got together, and we affectionately refer to them as the co-conveners. They convened this group that probably wasn't known as the Minority Men's Network at that time, but they convened the group initially for social purposes of welcoming.
Set the foundation.
Absolutely. So they kind of, through a somewhat loose structure, organized guys, had regular meetings, had some activities and things
Fellowship.
like that. Absolutely. That was
Sure.
the initial main purpose of it, to make guys feel welcome. And so as those gentlemen progressed through the years and became and stepped a little bit off the scene, other guys came along, and it was around 1998 that the Minority Men's Network, actually under that name, kind of assumed a more formal role as a network and as an organization that would do maybe more than just social activities.
Do you partner with any faith-based organizations in the community? I mean, here's the impression that I get about the Minority Men's Network is there are some very strong individuals in your organization, individuals that would be just amazing mentors to young black men and young black women. But sometimes maybe an individual on the streets living in a certain neighborhood, coming from a certain socioeconomic background, may not be able to reach someone who can be that mentor, that positive influence. How do you do that? Should I shorten that question?
No, not at all. I understand exactly what you're asking, and I have to confess that that's a challenge for the Minority Men's Network.
You know what, Steve? I think it's a challenge for everyone, and we need to get it figured out.
Yeah, we absolutely do. One of the things that we do try to do is that our guys, so for instance, I could name the names of folks who are part of the network. Lorenzo Lawson, for instance, with Youth Empowerment Zone, who pastors a church himself. Lester Woods with Urban Empowerment. We have a variety of men who serve in dual roles throughout our community. And the thing that the network serves is to try to connect what guys in different roles and in different organizations and who are doing different work, try to connect them in a network that gives them maybe better access to one another, but also presents a community face that, in addition to ways that they may be receiving exposure in their own networks, their own work, this provides an additional venue, I think, for them to be known. The best example I have is that we participated in Como Gives just this December. Well, the network, we've got pictures, we've got a website that you can go to and see these men there, and people will immediately recognize these men in other roles, and they go, "Oh, wow, I didn't know those guys were part of the network." So, yeah.
So it's a matter of getting the word out. There has to be an engagement. There has to be a connection somewhere, somehow. And you know, many of our faith-based organizations could really be the conduit, couldn't they?
Yes, they definitely could be, for sure.
Are you reaching out to them? Are they reaching out to you? Is there a connection?
There is a connection.
Good.
There is a connection. Some of the things that it's kind of a mutual relationship, so that when faith-based organizations have things going on, or non-faith-based organizations for that matter, the opportunity for the Minority Men's Network to add, in many cases, a diverse voice, a voice that perhaps is not heard otherwise from the community. It provides that opportunity through the network to get folks involved in other things that are going on.
How can the community help you?
So, great. I think that what we can do in the community is, number one, I would say, I get contacted by different organizations and different folks who want to hear from African American. They want to hear a different voice. And I would encourage those folks to continue to contact us.
Sure.
Because what I can do is I don't speak in every situation, but I have guys that I can get connected and speak about issues that people want to know. So I'm not worried that they speak necessarily on behalf of the network, but getting folks connected to those men for purposes of community work is what I'm very interested in.
That's great. How can I help?
Like us on Facebook,
I like you already, man.
go to our website, share the information about our organization. I can tell you that what we try to post on our website are events and things that are going on, and not just Minority Men's Network events, but other events that are going on in our community. So in our email communications, you can get signed up on our listserv to receive those communications on a regular or semi-regular basis.
Great.
And it helps to communicate information about activities that are going on that are of interest to minorities, that are of interest around education. That's one of our big focuses as well. And we're very concerned about African American males too, as you might guess, by the nature of our organization.
Well, there are a lot of young men that need guidance, for lack of a better term. I don't know what else to say. They need mentoring. Mm-hmm. And your organization, what a great group of people. It's phenomenal. I'm going to learn more about you. What's your website?
So our website is www.minoritymensnetwork.org. All one word, no punctuation or anything like that.
Okay. How'd you get so lucky to get involved? Maybe I should say blessed.
Yeah, absolutely blessed. So Elliott Battle,
Sure.
not ever one to forego talking about his kids. Actually, I had the opportunity to meet Elliott. He wasn't one of the first persons I met coming to Columbia, but we got in a conversation and talking about our families, and he actually made a personal invitation for me to attend Minority Men's Network meeting.
Wow. How can you say no?
I couldn't say
you
no.
Can't. You can't.
Absolutely. And so attended my first meeting and been attending ever since. This was 2002.
Now you're retired from the university.
I am.
And with all the spare time that you have now, dedicate it to the network.
Well, I think the network is a very worthy endeavor.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have to agree with you. How's your membership? I mean, you're a 501c3, so tax deductible contributions are great.
Yep, that's correct. We've got two portions of our organization. One is the Minority Men's Network, which is a nonprofit but not a 501c3.
Okay.
But through our educational foundation, we sponsor scholarships each year
Great.
for high school students in the Columbia area here. Mm-hmm. And I'm really pleased that this year, 2016 in May, we will actually be sponsoring a scholarship in the name of Ron Marley,
Sure.
the Ron Marley Memorial Scholarship. We will sponsor a scholarship at each of the Columbia high schools.
Outstanding, outstanding. Listen, the only thing I can say is thank you so much for taking the time and being on our program. Next thing is, I want to get involved. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to you after the show.
Sounds great.
www.minoritymensnetwork.org. But that's just between you and I.
All right.
Listen, have a great day and come back and see us, will you?
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks
the
so much,
opportunity.
Steve.
All righty.